Of the weekend in the Formula Renault 2-litre NEC. The Northern European Cup has delivered some great racing this year. This promises to be no exception, and we're getting to the business end of the championship year. This race today, 3 more at Hockenheim in a fortnight's time to determine who is going to be champion. And after a win yesterday for Ukio Sasahara, he has now moved himself to second in the championship, ahead of Kevin Jurg. He is still 55 points back from Louis Delatraz, but another win today for Sasahara could really spice things up going to Hockenheim. It's not exactly a warm day, 9.6 degrees the temperature as you look down at turn 6, the Dunlop curve at the bottom of the hill. It's the full Grand Prix circuit in use here. The Grand Prix circuit in the Nordschleife region with the old 14-mile circuit towering over it, but the Grand Prix circuit, a modern-day venue, and from the Mercedes arena, the first tricky sequence of corners, the cars then charge downhill. This is the run to the first corner from the grid, and everybody's formed up, ready to go for what promises to be a busy race. Pole position claimed in the qualifying session by Louis Delatraz, the son of former GT racer Jean-Denis Delatraz. And Louis leading this championship. He also leads the Euro Cup, and that was here last week. So many of the drivers have had quite a lot of track time in the last 10 days. Louis Delatraz then starts on pole position, but with him at the front of the grid is Ukio Sasahara. Pole position is on the outside, the racing line therefore. It's the 1x1 staggered grid, and Ukio Sasahara, whose main focus this year was meant to be the Euro Cup, but he did win at Monza at the start of the year in NEC and then re-evaluated his programme. He's now up to second in the title race, and he could yet pull a surprise. Third on the grid here is Johan Daruvala, who is one of the rookie drivers in the championship for this season. Daruvala is 6th overall within the championship, and that puts him as the leading rookie driver. And Daruvala, part of the Force India junior programme, carries the colours of the Formula 1 team on the car. Certainly a man to watch in this race. Kevin Jurg, though, should have done better, arguably, this year. He was a multiple race winner last season on his occasional visits to the NEC, as well as in the other championships that he was contesting. But this year, 2 wins at the Red Bull Ring aside, he's just not quite delivered. And Louis Delatraz, his teammate, has been far better hooked up. So yesterday, Jurg, for example, ran third, but just fell away by 1/10 or 2 per lap, dropped back, and was never really in contention. Then for 5th on the grid, you find Max de Forny, winner of the first of the 2 races at Spa, arguably the only race at Spa, because of course the second came a parade behind the safety car for half points. But Max de Forny, another second-generation racer, his dad Didier, a former FIA GT racer in the Chrysler Viper and promoter of the Belgian Grand Prix. De Forny, one to watch. And then 6th on the grid, Darius Osqui, who raced well yesterday. He finished 12th after being tapped into a spin at the first corner. So Darius Osqui had work to do, but he did fight back pretty impressively yesterday and got himself back into the mix come the end of the race. There are 3 minutes to go to the start, 3 minutes to the start of the formation lap, and the teams now start to make their way off into the pit lane, ready for the start of this 13th round of the championship. Ukio Sasahara having been the winner of the first race. Louis Delatraz then had 3 wins in a row, Monza and 2 at Silverstone. Kevin Jurg won the 2 at the Red Bull Ring, and then the third race there was won by Louis Delatraz. Max de Forny won the proper race at Spa, the safety car parade for half points. Poleman Louis Delatraz was the winner, and then at Assen, Dries Vanthoor took a win, Louis Delatraz took a win, and at the Nurburgring yesterday, Ukio Sasahara. So there's been a spread of them. Dries Vanthoor we haven't really come to on the grid, and that's because he will start absolutely last. Dries is the younger brother of Laurens Vanthoor, and you'll easily see his distinctive yellow car in the Equipe Nationale Belge colours, the RACB Academy colours, right at the very back after falling off the road early in qualifying. So yesterday, Vanthoor from 22nd on the grid got himself up to 10th. Expect more of the same as we segue our way down the grid, having a look at the green and black car there of Bartolomei Miretsky. Engines fire up now with 1 minute to go. There is the car of Pietro Peccinini, which didn't start yesterday, had a couple of dramas pre-race and kept coming in and out of the pits and never got off the line. David Richert is there, and Bruno Baptista nearest to us. Now, broken suspension put him out yesterday, and there is Dries Vanthoor I was talking about, starting right at the very back of the grid. And so, focus in on the back of his car for a moment. And that's the run down towards turn 1. So the grid is formed, the grid complete. They'll leave the line in a moment, and then we will be in business for this, the second race of the weekend in Formula Renault 2-litre NEC. And from the back of the grid, the car's ready to go. A 1x1 staggered grid formation. Formula Renault 2-litre NEC, an important junior category, and a great calendar that has been put together in this championship with lots of Formula 1 venues such as Monza, Silverstone, Red Bull Ring, Spa and the Nurburgring, and of course Hockenheim, as Dries van Thor lights up the rears as he blasts away now from the grid and sets off down towards turn 1. This last opportunity to get some warmth into the tyres now. Through the Mercedes arena they turn, and this is how they are going to line up, with Louis Delatraz, the man on pole position, and Ukio Sasahara lining up with him at the front of the grid. Then Jehan Daruvala lining up alongside Kevin Jurg. Next up, Max de Forny and Darius Oskry alongside him, with 7th on the grid, Stefan Rina, who drove well yesterday, ahead of Nikita Mazepin, the 16-year-old Russian driver, another for Josef Kaufmann's team. The Brit, Alex Gill for Fortec, is 9th. Another Brit, Dan Ticktum, race winner in the MSA Formula, he will start 10th ahead of Josef Zaruba and his teammate Enrique Chavez, the 2 AVF cars on row 6. Colin Noble is on the 7th row with Pontus Fredriksson for company. Behind them is Bartolomei Miretsky and another newcomer this weekend, Amea Vaidyanathan for Mark Godwin's squad. He's 16th ahead of Pietro Peccinini and Harry Salminen, who runs the Position 1 Motorsport team. One of his engineers is Mikko Pertala. He's 20th behind David Richert. 21st is Bruno Baptista, and Dries van Thor starts stone last, 22nd. His dramas we've accounted for already, given what happened to him in qualifying. So then, the field working its way through this formation lap. Quick recap of the championship situation then. Delatraz 277, Sasahara 222, 2 points up on Kevin Jurg. Callan O'Keefe is 4th, but he's away at Zandvoort this weekend. He's racing in the non-championship F3 Masters contest. Max de Forny is 5th. He is 4.5 points up on Jehan Daruvala. Then you've got Dries van Thor ahead of Darius Oskry, 4 points between them, 3.5 points between Oskry and Alex Gill, and then Nikita Mazepin rounds out the top 10 at present. We've had lots of low cloud this morning, but things are brightening up here. So much for the fog and the rain that people anticipated. It's getting a bit brighter, which is good news for these drivers, because last year they had 3 races. One was a carryover from Most, where the weather precluded its running. That was okay. Second race was all right. The third race never started. The cars got to the grid and sat in the fog and then were dispatched and said that was the last round of the championship. That never was. Well, this year, weather has been kinder to the teams and the championship as a whole here at the Nurburgring, and the cars now work their way into the chicane. You can see them all weaving around to put the warmth in the Michelin rubber on which they run in this championship. Everybody with the same Tetius chassis, the same 2-litre Renault engine, and the NEC, one of a number of now regional championships, having amalgamated struggling domestic series. Gone are the days where there'd be 36 plus Formula Renaults per country almost, as we had a decade or so ago, and to look after those teams with a car, so 2 or 3 would merge into a regional championship, the NEC, the Northern European Cup, being one of them, and then in turn, as other championships kind of started to struggle like the British, then it expanded to have a British round and incorporate those teams as well. So it really has grown into a tremendous series, the NEC, with a great calendar, and with Renault's motorsport activities having a change for next year with the demise of World Series by Renault and the major promoted events. The Formula Renault Euro Cup will have to stand on its own 2 feet, and that potentially will help other championships like this because it's got a better calendar, arguably, than others. So, up to the grid they come as soon as the yellow car of Dries van Thor switches sides now and goes for its grid ranking. That's the last car the officials need to monitor. Then Eichinger, who is the race director, will wait for the green flag to be shown at the back. As soon as that tells him that the last car is parked in place, he'll put the red lights on. There are 5 of them. When they all go out, we will be racing. Yesterday we got 12 laps in, but there was a safety car period for a couple of laps just when it started to rain. The green flag is shown. And so now we await the lights to go on, which they do. Lights out, we're racing at the Nurburgring, and a good start is made by Sasahara from the inside of the front row. He outdrags Louis Delatraz on the way down towards turn 1, and also making a good start is Jehan Daruvala. Delatraz blocks him, Jurg comes up to the outside there, he goes 3rd. But Sasahara will lead the way. Jurg gets forced out wide. He's down to 4th place as Daruvala comes up on the outside of Delatraz to attack him through turn 2. One off the road, bouncing high over the curb. We'll come to him in a moment as up front, look, there's a huge, huge lock-up from Ukio Sasahara, the race leader in the ART Junior team car. But he leads the way as they work their way for the first time out of turn 4. great battles going on all the way through the order, and Stefan Riener there being forced out a little bit. Also Darius Oskwi being forced over the curb, and a yellow flag waves in the background. Peccinini, I think, has gone off in the background as well there, so he's brought out a yellow flag. Downhill they drop for the first time. 25 minutes of racing, not a set number of laps. It's the first time the leader crosses the line once 25 minutes are up. So expect 14 laps, give or take, around here. It's a 5-kilometre circuit, and there's a lock-up at the bottom of the hill as they round the Dunlop curve. Uphill for the first time now, through the Schumacher S with the low, flat curves that enable you to ride those and build a bit of speed up, and also therefore try and extend the gap over those behind. The run to the next sequence takes you towards the Bilstein curve. The road comes over the brow, slightly cambered, it drops away to the left, then it turns right. The Bilstein curve is the next right-hander, and then it's foot to the boards, flat as they head down for the first time through the Advan Bogen. Sasahara leading Delatraz, leading Daruvula, leading Jörg. De Forny runs 5th at the moment. They're looking at the predominantly white car up towards the chicane. And Darius Oskwi, the one that lost out on the first lap, he's fallen down the order. Enrique Chavez has lost places as well, and so another driver falling down the order, Pontus Fredriksson. But Dries Vanthoor is on a mission, look, working his way up the order. The bright yellow car starting to chip away, gain places as they turn their way now up towards the right-hander at the end of the lap. Through turn 15 they come now over the timing line. Sasahara leading Delatraz then by 0.8 of a second. Now, not only does Sasahara need to win this for championship hope, but he also needs others to get ahead of Delatraz and take points off him. As ever, the great diversity of line is evident going into turn 1. Kevin Jörg under attack for his 4th place now, because Max de Forny right up behind him, and there's drama there heading into turn 1. We've lost one that's got hooked up into the braking zone. 11 it is, Pontus Fredriksson. He will get going, but Fredriksson falls at the back of the pack then. I've got a feeling that he didn't do that on his own. Sasahara leading Delatraz. One out wide is that De Forny in the background who's run off the road. Let's see, he fights back, but he's under pressure as they dive down towards the turn 5-6 sequence of corners. The exit of turn 4, always somewhere that drivers, if they carry a bit too much speed, can get it wrong. Dries Vanthoor runs around the outside there in the yellow car trying to gain a place, which he does. Vanthoor goes ahead of Josef Zaruba as they head downhill. Ahead of him now, Colin Noble. The black and red car is Noble. A big lock-up from Darius Oskwi further up the road as he hunts down Alex Gill. The cars climb uphill then, this being lap number 2. The lead gap at the end of the opening tour was 0.8 of a second. And so Sasahara trying to extend the advantage over Delatraz all the time now. Out of the Bilstein curve they go. This is the scrap raging on further down the order between those in midfield. Up towards the Advan Bogen comes the race leading battle. Now, how is Kevin Jörg getting on? He's falling away by the look of it from Daruvula. Behind him, De Forny has fallen back on this lap quite spectacularly, and contact into the chicane. That, I fear, was always on the cards. Darius Oskwi up the inside there to try to get himself up a place. And with the Alex Gill that he took with him, let's just check. There's a car stranded in the middle of the chicane. No, it was not Gill, it was Mazepin. Nikita Mazepin it was, who was tagged. He gets going again, but how much damage there is, we'll wait and see. Leaders over the timing line. Sasahara leads now by 11/10 from Delatraz, then Daruvula runs 3rd, 4th is De Forny, 5th is Jörg, 6th is Riener, 7th is Ticktum, 8th Gill, 9th Vanthoor, 10th was Noble. Zaruba and Chavez change places and then change back again, going through the Mercedes arena. On the inside line in 21 is Chavez, but right round the outside there, look, goes Josef Zaruba. He gets his nose in front, wrong line. He's got the inside for the next corner if he can brake late enough. No, he can't. So Enrique Chavez then claims back 11th place as they work their way now out of the Mercedes arena. A run down towards turns 5 and 6. Colin Noble coming under a bit of pressure. Bartolomei Meretsky starting to make progress up the order as well. You can see in the green and black car. And he now is splitting the AVF twins. In the pit lane, though, is number 10, Darius Oskwi. Damage after that contact. Front right, you've got to say it was down to him, really. He made the move up the inside, but carried too much speed into the corner. And contact was the inevitable result. So now, as the race leaders currently work lap number 3, looking at the green and black MB racing car from the penultimate row of the grid. or near the back, I should say, Bartolomej Meretsky. He too is trying to work his way up into contention again. He's got some work to do. 13th at the start of the lap here, Meretsky. But the leaders work their way now up towards the completion of the lap. They've got the Van Bogen and then the chicane to go. But Sasahara building up the gap nicely. He's got 2 absolute best in the sectors here. 11 tenths he led by at the end of the previous lap. There, number 34 with the blue front of the car is Dan Tickton, 7th now in the Koiranen car. And he's battling with Alex Gill at the moment for 7th and 8th places. The 2 British drivers have got themselves together. Alex Gill is a regular in the championship. Dan Tickton has dropped in and out when his commitments permit since the races at Spa. But Darius Oskwi out of the race, going no further then. So Oskwi, the former Formula BMW Talent Cup graduate, he's out of the race, as Tickton still defends from Gill as they head now once more down towards the approach to the Mercedes arena. Through turn 1 they go. Dan Tickton, one of the front runners in the MSA Formula in the UK this year, keeping Alex Gill behind him. Up the road still, Sasahara being caught last time by Delatraz. The gap had come down ever so slightly. In 3rd spot still Daruvula, and one off there, look, coming out of turn 4 and hard into the barrier. That for the ABF team is Enrique Chavez out of the race. Big impact that as it went right the way around and spun to the inside, hard into the barrier, smashed suspension. So out of the race is Enrique Chavez. Just wonder, inevitably now, what happens next? Is that car going to be easily removable? Look, he's lost it in the previous corner, skates across the grass and crunch into the wall. The safety car is called for, so the safety car is deployed while that is moved out of harm's way. And an incident between Oskwi and Mazepin is under investigation. So we go safety car, out it comes. The Lamborghini safety car is on track, and this will now bunch up everybody, slow down the pace of the race. 17.5 minutes still on the clock, and a little bit sore, hurt his ankle I think, is Enrique Chavez. It certainly was a big crunch. Of course it was at the front of the car really, on the driver's right as he went into the wall, but the safety car is deployed, and the 2nd Formula Renault race of the weekend goes behind the safety car, hopefully not for too long. So Sasahara the race leader, Delatraz runs 2nd, Daruvula 3rd, 4th is Deforny, 5th is Jörg, and in 6th spot is Stefan Riener. Tickton 7th, Gill 8th, and from 22nd to 9th, there he is with the progress of making more places on the restart. Dries Vanthoor 10th is Colin Noble. So there's still a lot that can shake out of this as we look forward to the restart, but it's been a busy first, what have we had? 4 laps now as they come over the timing line. All of this does count within the duration. So the drivers work their way through turn 1, and Okio Sasahara's gap disappears, but what he's got to do, and he did it well yesterday, is control the restart. Now, while all the fun and games have been going on, Max Deforny has got himself up into 3rd place, rather overlooked, apologies. Let's have a replay of the start, then I'll go back to the classification, because it's going to be interesting to see what progress people can make on the restart. Sasahara with a great getaway, even though he's a length back and on the less grippy side, made a peach of a start. Kevin Jörg in the red and white car runs wide, so briefly 3rd, but then he loses that to Johan Daruvula. One car runs wide over the grass, gets back on at turn 2 and causes others to scatter around. And this is the reason that we have the safety car out on track. It is so the Enrique Chavez chassis can be retrieved, and the recovery team will attach that to the vehicle and hopefully be able to drag that to one of the many little escape roads, the little cut-throughs where you can put battered cars and indeed keep the emergency vehicles so they're quickly able to be deployed if you need them. Safety car works its way down through the Dunlop curve, and the race for the moment with the order: Sasahara leading from Delatraz, from Max Deforny 3rd, 4th Johan Daruvula, 5th Kevin Jörg, 6th Stefan Riener, so Jörg fading, 7th is Tickton, 8th Gill, 9th Vanthoor, and 10th is Colin Noble. But Vanthoor is one to watch, and certainly the way that he went at Spa, Max Deforny is one to watch. Deforny coming into this race 5th in the championship. He's got the chance of getting 4th away from the absent Callan O'Keefe. The sun is breaking through, the cloud is lifting and breaking, the sky is getting bluer and better overhead. It was a very grey start to the day. Just before the Formula Renault race, we'd had the qualifying for GT cars, but the weather conditions are improving all the while for them. Track temperature going up as well now The field turning its way up through the Ad van Bogen to the chicane, and there you can see the way the order looks. So who on the restart is going to be on their toes and who's going to be able to gain places? Ukio Sasahara coming into this race 55 points adrift within the title race, but he's got the potential to narrow it by a few points, not by many. He's going to have to, as I said earlier, hope that something befalls Delatraz or people can get ahead of him. Sasahara for the ART junior team. He's lost one of his possible options, which is teammate Darius Osqui getting up the order and taking points away, because Osqui is out of the race as well, and it's just those two cars from Frederic Vasseur's team. The safety car is going to be in at the end of this lap, so we'll go back to racing very shortly. And again, it could well be that we have the 12 laps just like yesterday. Safety car will pit this time. We'll go racing again. Ukio Sasahara it is who leads the way. The cars turning their way now towards the S's. And everybody in this championship, of course, with the same chassis, with the same engine. And you look at the rather crumpled version of Enrique Chavez, it's down to how well a driver operates with his team, how well the whole package gets the best out of that car. Down to setup, down to the more experienced teams to use the data, but also down to driver ability. And one-make categories have always been a case of finding out who the real star drivers are. And these days, you've got to look hard to find a multi-chassis single-seater championship. Even Formula 3 has become one-make, not by design, just by Dallara's domination. But here, Tatius providing all the Formula Renault cars, and it's the same interchangeable chassis you could run in any Formula Renault series. So with 12.5 minutes on the clock now, we're going to have 12, if not less, when we go back to racing. And the field is working its way up towards the Bilstein curve. We're not far away, as I say, from getting this race back up and running. The field turns its way now towards the Ad van Bogen, that right-hand corner or kink, depending on which track map you look at. But it is a real corner, and it takes real bravery to take it flat. The speed is building all the time at this point, and the run uphill towards the chicane brings you to the end of the second sector. So we are into the last 12 minutes of the race. The safety car has already gone towards the pit lane, and as it peels in, the restart is now controlled by Ukio Sasahara. Like yesterday, he starts to accelerate out of the chicane. Then he's got to be careful not to drop it coming into the last turn, but Sasahara with a good restart will lead the way as they head up towards the timing line. So we're back and racing, 11.5 minutes on the clock. Through they go. The leader is Sasahara then, 2/10 up, as behind him Delatraz is now looking to make a move. So he's not just thinking about points, Delatraz is thinking about winning the race. He's on the outside line, wheel to wheel, down towards turn one, and off they both go towards the gravel. Sasahara is off, Delatraz is off. Who gets back on first, and how far down are they? Sasahara stays ahead of Delatraz, but both of them brake so late. Both go off the road together. As Sasahara was heading off, of course, Delatraz on the outside could do little but go with him. Otherwise, there would have been contact, but both have suffered as a result of that. They've dropped down the field, and so that's going to give Max de Fourny the race lead now provisionally. De Fourny it is up front. Jahan Daruvela runs second, and then for third place it should be Kevin Jurgen. He'll need those points as well for the championship. So fascinating now to see how it all pans out, and also to see what progress back up the order can be made by the likes of Sasahara and Delatraz after that skirmish down at the first corner. They didn't touch, but they both ran off, they both went through the gravel, and actually lucky they had the momentum to come out the other side. So the cars work their way up through the middle sector then. And Ukio Sasahara, having made a mistake, desperately keen to fight back now as they work their way up towards the Michael Schumacher S. Delatraz looks for a way past Sasahara still, and the battles continue all the way around the lap. In fact, there, as the field turns its way towards the Bilstein curve, you can see the Josef Kaufmann car of Delatraz trying to gain further ground, and Delatraz, a man on a mission now, not at all amused about having run off the road there. So both Sasahara and Delatraz way down the order, but Delatraz looks like he's making a pretty decent recovery here as the cars head up towards the chicane. Nikita Mazepin is another driver trying to gain ground out of this after his earlier skirmish with his Josef Kaufmann chassis, but the leader goes across the line. Forney leading Daruvula, Jörg is third, Rena is fourth, fifth is Ticktum now, sixth is Gill, seventh is Van Tor from the back, eighth is Noble, ninth is Miretsky, 10th is Zaruba, 11th is Sasahara, 12th is Delatraz as they head down towards turn 1, 13th is Baptista, 14th is Amaya Vaidyanathan. So from 1st to 11th, from 2nd to 12th, that's the situation now for Ukio Sasahara, who turns his way through on the back of Josef Zaruba. Sasahara still clear of Delatraz. Delatraz trying to gain up with him, gain the track space back as Sasahara has a rather cheeky look at the inside of Josef Zaruba, but to no avail there. Can't find a way back ahead of him. He needs to try to press on and make the move on the run down to the Dunlop curve. But also, of course, this is, in a sense, good news, because even further back is Delatraz, but Sasahara needed himself to be up the front still. He's got to do the overtaking and hope that Delatraz can't do that. Now, Max de Forney is in the box seat, isn't he? Not only to get himself up to 4th in the championship ahead of Callan O'Keefe, but also to work his way into contention with Kevin Jörg for 3rd. Jörg runs 3rd in the race as well as in the championship, but Jörg also could gain out of this, depending on where Sasahara and Delatraz finish. Ukio Sasahara tries to make the move now, up against Josef Zaruba. Delatraz closing up in the background. Towards the Bilstein curve they come. Which way does Sasahara go? It's not that easy to overtake in Formula Renault. Slicks and wing single-seaters not noted for the ease of overtaking, but certainly Sasahara is quick enough to do it. He's brave enough as well to come from a long way back up towards the chicane. So here comes Sasahara. Is he now going to launch himself up the inside? Yes, he is. Zaruba can't cover that, surely. So Ukio Sasahara, no, isn't able to go through. Was almost level, but had to back out of it. So Sasahara not able to make the move, and that means that Delatraz has brought himself nearer as they head up towards the last corner. The leader, Max de Forney, goes through, still heading behind Daruvula as they go over the timing line. 3rd is Kevin Jörg, not really being able to make any progress. Again, it's one of those so-so races for Kevin Jörg that's just not quite delivering what it should. Dries Van Tor goes through, still in 7th place. And here comes Sasahara again up the inside. And again, Josef Zaruba is good in his defence. Sasahara not able to launch himself up the inside there going into turn 1. And now, look, here comes Delatraz up round the outside. Louis Delatraz down in 12th spot, tries to find a way past Ukio Sasahara, who has now been stuck behind Josef Zaruba for a lap. Zaruba is sideways and corrects it. Sasahara gets the run coming into turn 4. Is he going to be able to make the move now? 2nd in the championship, runs 11th in the race. Championship leader behind runs 12th in the race. Both of them stuck behind this very wide car, driven by Josef Zaruba, that comes now through turn 6, the run down to the Dunlop curve. And suddenly Sasahara's life becomes very difficult because he's got to attack and defend at the same time. The Japanese driver looking for a way to get himself up the inside as they go to the right-hander. Can't do it. Puff of tar smoke from those ahead. And now, look, Sasahara has got Delatraz right up behind him as the cars work their way uphill once again. Sasahara knows he's got to attack, but also mindful that Delatraz is right there behind him. And now, look, Delatraz is the quicker. He comes to the outside. To the inside goes Sasahara. Delatraz, I think, has made the move on Sasahara. Yes, he has, right round the outside. He gains the place. So it wasn't for the lead in the end, but he has now got himself ahead of Sasahara. Louis Delatraz, with 6 minutes to go, takes the place. So Sasahara's race goes from bad to worse. Not only is he a long way down the order, he's also behind Delatraz. Is Delatraz going to be able to get past Zaruba? He's up on the outside into the chicane. They're wheel to wheel. Do they go through safely? They do. Delatraz has pulled a move that Sasahara couldn't do. Now he does get up the inside. Sasahara makes the move on Zaruba. Delatraz covers the line. Sasahara is tucked up behind him. The white and black car then at the head of this trio is Louis Delatraz. The red and white car in the middle is Ukio Sasahara. Can Sasahara get himself back ahead of Delatraz? Over the line they come. 5 minutes and change remain. Down towards turn 1 again. Max de Forney leads the way. Sasahara defends his newly won 11th place, but 10th ahead of him is Delatraz, who goes a little bit wide coming out of turn 1. Now through the Mercedes arena they go. This long left at turn 2, down towards turn 3. It's right at 4, and then the short straight into the next 5-6S sequence. Zaruba staying with Ukio Sasahara, who in turn, to be fair to him, is staying right on the back, look, of the car of Louis Delatraz ahead. Bartolomei Miretsky runs in 9th spot. Sasahara still having to defend, isn't he? But this time it's from Josef Zaruba as they come downhill again. They work their way out of turn 6 down to the Dunlop curve. 4 minutes and a half, give or take, still to go. And Max de Forney, the race leader, is 1.6 seconds up the road. Jahan Daruvala versus Kevin Jörg. That was only 6/10 last time, but Jörg is being caught by Stefan Riener. And you've got Ticktum 5th, Gil is 6th, 7th is Dries Vanthoor. Here they are, the yellow car easily distinctive there of Dries Vanthoor, the Belgian driver, trying to get himself into a challenging position against Alex Gil. Gil, likewise, wants to find a way past Ticktum. They're running together as they work their way out of the Bilstein curve once again. So de Forney and Daruvala, first and second. They're also both rookie drivers. And that, I think I'm right in saying, is the first time that we would have had a rookie 1-2 this season. It is. So Max de Forney has had one win at Spa, but it could be a 1-2 for rookie drivers in this race. They turn their way now into the right-hander that brings them round to the end of the lap. This is the battle for 5th and 6th and 7th. Ticktum just about clear of Gil, who is just about clear of Vanthoor for the moment as they come over the timing line once again. How's Delatraz getting on? He's still 10th, 1.4 seconds back from Miretsky. Sasahara is 6/10 back from Delatraz now. And not looking as though he's going to be able to make a move against him. So Sasahara, with that error down at turn 1, has lost the chance of the victory, that's for sure, as they're defending strongly. Amaya Vaidyanathan has got Pontus Fredriksson up behind him as they go into turn 1, but Vaidyanathan runs out really wide, and Pontus Fredriksson up the inside and gains the place. He's not the only one doing that, because there, look, also 73, Pietro Peccinini, busy battling with Harry Salminen, the team owner of Position 1 Motorsport. They're together, and Salminen is trying to get the place. He's on the inside, and he's gone through. Harry Salminen then goes ahead, takes the position with just 2 3/4 minutes still on the clock. Max de Forney's lead up front, incidentally, 1.9 seconds, looking very good indeed. The young Belgian driver then turning his way into the Bilstein curve approach. You've got Jahan Daruvala, then Kevin Jörg behind. That gap still elasticated. Stefan Riener is 4th. And look at Alex Gil in the red and white car there. The Fortec entry right up behind Dan Ticktum's Koiranen car. Delatraz has got himself under the rear wing of Miretsky, still therefore for 9th place. The battle is on. But Gil versus Ticktum, that battle's coming alive once again. Alex Gil having a real go now. Graduate of the UK-based BARC Formula Renault Championship, and as the cars power up towards the chicane, he's not close enough there to find a way past Dan Ticktum. But Ticktum, in his first year of car racing, a real star in the MSA Formula, adapting now to these more powerful 2-litre cars, normally aspirated engines as well, comes up towards the line. The leader is through. He's got time for, I think, only one more lap looking at the clock. Max de Forney leading by 2.4 seconds. Daruvala to Jörg, 6/10. Here comes Gil to make a move against Ticktum. Down towards turn 1, Alex Gil thinks about the inside, but starting this last lap didn't commit to it. So for the moment, Ticktum hangs on in there. Still wondering whether Jörg can do anything about Daruvala right to the end of this race. There's not much to choose between them. 6/10 of a second as Dan Ticktum in the meantime fends off Alex Gil, and Dries Vanthoor closing up onto the back of them as well now. Vanthoor inching up into contention from 22nd on the grid to 7th. It's been a mighty drive. Makes you wonder what he could have done from a decent grid position had it not been for the off in qualifying, doesn't it? Stefan Riener there chases Kevin Jörg. Jörg chasing after Jahan Daruvala. Daruvala driving for Fortec. Max de Forney driving for the ART junior team. And although they've lost Sasahara from contention and Darius Oskwi into the pit lane, Max de Forney, running in the Ticketmaster colours, different livery, turns his way as a potential race winner now on this, the last lap, up towards the Bilstein curve for the last time for 3rd place. Every time Jörg gets close to Daruvala, that means he gets stuck and it enables Riener to close on him, and it's happened again. So now for 3rd place, Jörg is defending from Riener. For 5th, it's Ticktum still defending from Gil, but we've got 3 corners effectively to go now as they work their way up towards the chicane, out of the Ad Van Bogen. There's the race leader. Max de Forney is set for a 2nd win of the year now. He won at Spa earlier on in the season. It was a great drive there. It's been a very impressive drive here as well. He started on the 3rd row of the grid, and with some overtaking and a bit of help from the leaders along the way, Max de Forney wins for the 2nd time this year. in the Formula Renault 2-litre NEC Championship. Second, his best result, Jahan Daruvala. Kevin Jörg hangs on to third, and that will help him for points in the championship ahead of Stefan Riener. Dan Tichtum is a fine fifth, a good sixth, Alex Gill. Seventh is Dries Vanthoor. Eighth, Fukiya Sasahara. Ninth goes the way of Colin Noble, and then 10th, Louis Delatraz, with Sasahara therefore having gained a whole heap of places right at the very end, unseen, but Sasahara got himself back up ahead of Delatraz and ahead of Colin Noble, so there may well have been a little drama that we didn't see, because certainly Sasahara was struggling to get himself anywhere near Delatraz. Not only did he catch him, he passed him, he got past Noble as well, and in the end took 8th place. So Fukiya Sasahara salvages something out of that. It was all looking a bit bleak at one stage, but Max Deforny is the winner. Second, Jahan Daruvala. Kevin Jörg takes third. The cars that are not needed for the podium or for Parc Fermé being waved into the paddock. And the car that's being held there, I think there's just some discussion about whether it's needed by the officials or not. So that's why that one is just being held by the race officials. Max Deforny the winner for the second time this year. Jahan Daruvala takes second, Kevin Jörg third, with fourth going the way of Stefan Riener. Dan Tichtum fifth ahead of Alex Gill, Dries Vanthoor seventh, Fukiya Sasahara eighth at the end ahead of Noble, Delatraz, Miretsky and Josef Saruba in 12th place. 13th behind them, Nikita Mazepin after a spin. Bruno Baptista 14th ahead of Pontus Fredriksson. Amaya Vaidyanathan was 16th, then Harry Salmonen fended off Pietro Peccinini. David Richard was 19th, Mikko Pertl at 20th, and then out of the race, Enrique Chavez with damage and Darius Osqui with damage as well. And so, the day the rookies really shine. First and second are drivers from the rookie contest, and in a few moments the cars will make their way back into the pit lane. The officials that want to look at the cars for scrutineering purposes will receive them, and then the drivers, after the celebrations, will head up towards the podium. But there, Kevin Jörg, for his third place, arrives. They will be in a moment as well, Jahan Daruvala and Max Deforny. And Kevin Jörg takes third spot. Out of the car he steps. There is Jahan Daruvala for second, his best finish of the year. And second of the rookie drivers in the race and, of course, in the championship. But a great effort by Jahan Daruvala, that. And he will step from the Fortec Run car. The Force India junior team driver goes to celebrate with the team, and then we wait for ART's Max Deforny to come into the Parc Fermé area. The pit lane klaxon sounds as Max Deforny now, bang on cue, arrives. The race winner, to lots of applause, parks the car as required, and the ART engineers will celebrate with the long-haired Belgian in a moment for sure. Out he gets, a very happy man, and a very good drive, third row of the grid, up through the order. And as we've been saying, it's not that easy to overtake in slicks and wings single-seaters, but after 6th place in the race yesterday, it's a win today for Max Deforny. He goes to congratulate everybody that put so much effort into his car. With Fukiya Sasahara 8th, for Darius Osqui a retirement. A mixed day for ART, but the win is the thing they'll focus on the most. Max has a quick word with the team, and then will be encouraged towards the podium, where, of course, Max Deforny, the overall winner, is the winning rookie as well. We'll have 2 trophies, and we may be able to have a quick word with Max Deforny, because OJ Borg is down in the holding area, and OJ can hear now from Max Deforny.
Max, congratulations, a fantastic win from something, I mean, you're a rookie driver, but a great win.
Yeah, it was quite far away, but in the end it was quite a very nice win. Managed well the race and the incidents that happened throughout the race, and we managed to win with quite a big gap at the end. And being a rookie, it's really nice to win like that, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Deforney didn't put a wheel wrong, really, did he? As far as we could see. And so he makes his way to congratulate Jahan Daruvla, the Indian driver. Another very promising young talent is Jahan Daruvla. And now the drivers are escorted up towards the podium. Through the race control building they will go. The Lamborghinis head down the pit lane for their race as the Formula Renault field takes the trip through race control for the right reasons this time. Sometimes drivers are sent to race control for being in contravention of regulations, but this, it's just a shortcut to the podium. So ART will be represented up there as well, hence the engineer goes with the drivers. And the next stop for the championship in 2 weeks' time at Hockenheim, where 3 races will decide who is going to be this year's champion. And the results from today will certainly help Kevin Jörg to narrow the margin to Ukio Sasahara. He was only 2 points back, so in fact he should be ahead. And this was what happened when Sasahara and Delatraz were side by side. Over the curb went Sasahara as he was squeezed on the inside. Both of them braked so late they were never going to make the corner. And of course Delatraz on the outside couldn't turn because Sasahara was up the inside. They both got back on. Delatraz eventually managed to find a way past Sasahara and then was able to briefly get away until Sasahara regrouped, caught back up and passed right at the very end. So the Formula Renault drivers have raced in the sunshine, just about. There's a rather menacing black cloud looming overhead now for the next track action here at a busy day at the Nurburgring. But why are you surprised? You're in the Eifel region, and so the weather conditions are always a little bit hit and miss. So along the race control corridor go the drivers towards the podium, and with Louis Delatraz in the end finishing way down the field. Kevin Jörg has had the better result out of that, so the championship lead that Delatraz has will now be over Jörg, and it will be a slightly decreased one. So Sasahara did Jörg a favour by all the fun and games down at the first corner. The drivers being congratulated by Cara de Vlaming, who is the communications officer for the championship. Also there is Ralf Weishaupt, the championship's organiser, in the podium room as well. And he will be, along with Cara, ready to hand over trophies in a few moments once everybody is ready. A drink of water. The Michelin caps are ready. And in the reverse order of third, then second, then first, and the team rep, we should be good to go in a moment. Third place, Kevin Jörg. There he is. Kevin comes for a third place of the weekend. He was third yesterday, and third today is the result for Kevin Jörg, who steps forward then onto the podium. For second place, out steps Jahan Daruvla, makes his way to the podium. Max Deforney for the ART junior team is the race winner. He makes his way to the top step. And the team represented there as well, as Max Deforney takes honours in race 2 at the Nurburgring. Max Deforney then, the Belgian national anthem is played, and now the trophies to be presented for Max. It's a second win of the year, but Kevin Jörg, as he receives his third place trophy from Ralf Weishaupt, who organises the championship so well. It's a decent result, not as good as he would like, but it does help with the dramas for others within the championship. Jahan Daruvla, so near and yet so far from a maiden victory, but second for the Indian driver. And then Ralf Weishaupt hands over the winner's trophy that goes the way of Max Deforney for the second time this year. He is a race winner, and ART junior team is the victorious squad. And then with trophies held aloft, the celebrations will begin just as soon as the photographs are taken. There's also, of course, the winning rookie trophy to be given, and that is for Max Deforney. because he doesn't just win outright, he is, in his rookie season, his first full year of car racing. And so now the drivers step down for the photographs. And in the middle is Max Stefani. To his right, Jahan Deruvala. To the left, it is Kevin Jörg. So the championship has delivered some great racing all year as part of the support package to the Blancpain Endurance Series. And 3 races still to go to decide who is going to be champion, and they come at Hockenheim in 2 weeks' time. It's still going to be Louis Delatraz who leaves here as the championship leader, but Kevin Jörg will be closer still. And it's certainly by no means decided. Work done then in Germany for this weekend at least. The celebrations can begin. Max Stefani won't mind getting wet, will he, as he celebrates a 2nd win of the year. Josef Kaufmann's Kevin Jörg and Jahan Deruvala with him on the podium at the end of another lively race in the championship. Let's look back at some of the highlights of the 2nd Formula Renault race of the weekend here, that began with a good start from Ukio Sasahara from 2nd on the grid, managing to out-drag poleman Louis Delatraz on the run down towards turn 1. Kevin Jörg went in a little bit deep and therefore ran out wide. That meant that Jahan Deruvala nipped up past him, crucial as it turned out in the end, because Jörg was never able to get back ahead of him. 1 or 2 ran wide coming out of the Mercedes arena for the first time, and the cars dived downhill towards the Dunlop curve on the opening lap of the race. With up front, Sasahara trying to fend off the challenge of Delatraz. Max Stefani was down in his 6th spot from the grid, trying to work his way up towards the front as Pontus Fredriksson had a lose going into the first corner. Drama as Darius Oskry tried to get up the inside of Nikita Mazepin. Contact between the two meant that Oskry retired with broken suspension. Mazepin fell down the order, and a big accident for Enrique Chavez did a huge amount of damage to the front of his car. That was him out, the safety car deployed, and on the restart, Delatraz attacked Sasahara, who braked so late going into turn 1. He rode the curb on the inside. He was going off, and Delatraz had no option but to go with him. They both rejoined, they both fell down the order, and battle their way back into contention before the end of the race. But all of that, plus some overtaking by Max Stefani, put the Belgian driver into the lead of the race. And so Stefani was the man in charge as the cars worked their way through the last laps of the race. Delatraz busy battling to try to get himself up the order and gain more places. He got himself past Sasahara, he got himself past Zaruba, but then fell away towards the end of the race. For Max Stefani, though, a race victory, and a very happy man he was, as the race championship now moves on to Hockenheim in 2 weeks' time. From the Nurburgring, from David Addison, it's goodbye for now.